In this part of the video, we are going to cover basic routing and also how we can use controller and also resource routing generally. I'm just going to quickly open this project folder on our Visual Studio Code. So you can see the project structure of Laravel, which kind of makes it cool. You can see the app. So this app has some certain things. Here we can find the console, the exceptions for error handling. Then inside there we have the HTTP, which contains the controllers over here, and the controller extends to the base controller. And if you can understand here, from the controller we can have access to authorize requests, dispatch jobs, and also validate requests. Then inside this middleware we have the user middleware for login, and also we have some other middlewares here. And one of the things again, we have the kernel, which we are not really going to talk about, so I'm just going to skip that for now. But here we have the app service provider, the auth provider, the brokers provider, even the route service provider. So all these things are kind of have some settings that we actually work with Laravel. So you can check the official docs to read more about this. So it's kind of very simple. It's just for you to take your time. You can learn a lot of big things on Laravel. So we have the Bootstrap, which bootstrap everything in our application and link everything for us. Then we have the database, and inside the database we have some migrations. So migrations has to do with your tables or your columns. So automatically Laravel creates our migration for users, and also I guess it creates the user model. So you can see over here we have the user model in the app root directory. So there are some settings that you can actually use to make sure that the user model works the way you want it. So this one actually says this attribute should be hidden for arrays so that the password or the remember token will not be gotten when the user make a get request to retrieve the user credentials. So you can also cast everything you want to cast over here. So it's just more like the Laravel spectrum or Laravel cast attributes. Yeah, the Laravel cast attributes we talked about in the slide. So over to the migration, you can see you can actually add more columns to this field. So you can see the email unique, you can index things, you can nullify things, and also Laravel comes with this timestamp you can actually work with in your model. So, and also it has this down, which is actually going to drop the table completely. So it also has some other cool migrations. So as we go on, we are going to have more understanding of this. Another thing, Laravel has this public directory. So this public directory are the things that displays on your browser. So everything that is compiled here will be used on the client side, and the view also comes from the resource. So everything that we put in here is going to be compiled in the public directory. Then we can make use of those things in our client's application. So you can see the app automatically Laravel comes with the Bootstrap view. It gives all this functionality to use Bootstrap with Laravel. We are going to see how we can use that as we move on. And also you can add language. So you can add SAS. Laravel supports this less style of styling, which is kind of cool. And the view, Laravel uses the Blade templating engine that we talked about in the slide. So you can see here, we are actually using the Blade template engine. Everything you see on that landing page is here, and you can see how the routes, the links are actually configured. So you can see over here, we are checking if there's a route called login. If the user is logged in, then it's going to display some of this route. Sorry, if the login route exists, not if the user logs in. Sorry for that. Then it's going to display some of these routes. Then if not, it's not going to display this route. So I don't think these routes are being displayed because we don't have a route called login. So let me go ahead and check that. And you can see we don't have that route displaying, or the thing inside this route displaying. So that's it for that. And routes, finally, you can create your API. You can also, this is where we are going to be handling our routes. So enough of the talk. Let's go ahead and start our application. So I'm going to start off with this web.php inside our routes. So we are not dealing with the API for now. So we are just starting off with this routes, get routes for the homepage. So I'm just going to return just a simple text, return hello world. And mind you, PHP, one of the things that gets me weak on PHP is that you must do this. It's not like JavaScript, which is kind of also cool, but you must do that on PHP. So let's refresh our application, and you can see that same hello world that we just typed down, we receive that in our browser. So Laravel is kind of cool. So let's go ahead and go through some routes. So we can also let's just type down one more route so that you can have more understanding of that. I'm just going to scroll this up. I'm just going to get /hello. So this is just like a callback. If you're familiar with Node.js, you can also observe that Node.js has to do with something called a callback, with passing your request and response. You can actually pass your request and response inside here as well, but as we move on, we are going to have more understanding. So I'm just going to return hello again and save. So guys, even as you watch this video, do not forget to hit the like button and also the subscribe button. We can go over to startlara.com and visit hello. And you can see hello again. This kind of makes Laravel to be cool, and I really love the way Laravel handles its logic when it comes to the UI or the client side. You don't even need to stress yourself. So let's go ahead and type down one more route. So we can say get welcome, and it's going to return the callback. I do call it callback, but it's called closures. So let's return welcome home. And let's save that and visit our browser. And we can visit that and you can see welcome home. So we can also use something like normal header one attributes, like HTML attributes in our return statement. So header one, welcome home. Then we can just close that and save. And let's refresh, and you can see it makes it to be more bolder. You can use as many things as you want to use. We can just, I've forgotten how to break a line on PHP because it's kind of long. I did this, but we can just put down a div. Then inside this div, we can bold something like this is a crash course. Then here we can add a paragraph. Please subscribe. So let's save that and visit welcome once more. And you can see everything that we typed there just came out the way it's supposed to be. This one is bold and this one happens to be on a separate div. This kind of makes the UI more cool as well. So we've really touched the get or the get request. Let's go ahead with some other routes. Let's talk about the dynamic routes. So I'm just going to comment that dynamic route with Laravel. So dynamic routes, let's say you're passing a parameters from you want to get a parameter from your link or from your URL and you want to work with those parameters. So let's just go ahead and create a route that's going to get something like a user. So we can pass the user ID, and over here we can return the function. So we can say this is, let's just use a div. Then inside here, I think I have to close this. I don't want to see those errors. You can say hello user. Hello user. You can say over here your ID. Then inside this place, we can just use I think we can use something like template literals. I think so. $ID. So let's go ahead and close that. So inside here we can grab that same ID, and that should solve it. So let's visit /user/ID user/1. It's not showing actually, so sorry for that, guys. What is the problem? So let's visit that again. I don't know why it's not working, guys. So, but let's kind of give this a try this way. Sorry. Let's save this and refresh. Oh, okay, I was doing this the JavaScript way. That was why we are not able to get back our response. So we can now bring down the header one once again. Header one, hello user. So it's kind of long. I left Laravel, so I'm just using template literals, which is backtick, which is actually not going to work. So you can see, hello user, your ID is 1. So if we change this to 2, when we change this to 25, when we change this to 1000, we are still going to get that same ID, 100. So you can see, hello user, your ID is 100. So more and more dynamic routes. We can even have double dynamic routes. So let's take, for example, we have route get user slash, let's say user slash post slash, let's say comments, or let's just leave the post there, or let's just say comments slash comments. So let me just clear this S. And inside here, you can close that. You can have the function, which is the callback, and we can get the posts, and also we can get the comments. So here we can return. So let me just reduce this. We can return the post is $post. I think we can just do something like this, and we'll make sure that we close that perfectly. Then over here, I can have a div. You can even use a line break if you wish to. The comment is $comment. So you make sure that name look alike, and let's just get rid of that. And let's save, and let's visit user slash anything. So I will just say the user slash anything slash comments slash I am here. So you can see we have a user, let's say user Samuel slash comments I am here. So when we visit that, you can see this post is Samuel. Actually, I misrepresented this, but you can actually see that we can use double parameters from our routes, which makes it more dynamic and looks more good. So the next one we can actually work with is optional routes. We can work with optional routes. So we can say slash user slash, we can say name, but this name is going to be optional. In case we don't have the name, we don't want an error, but we still want to return something to the user. So we can return this route is optional. So I'm going to save that, and I'm going to visit user slash Samuel. I think we should have a clash because I already have a route like that. Just comment this, takes the first one. So you can see this route is optional, and when I don't put that as well, you can see we have the optional routes presenting something to our screen. So the next one we can actually do is, even this optional route, we can also say the $name is equal to John. So if I come here and I just put something like $name and save, automatically we make use of that John. And when I say user/Samuel, you can see Samuel still replaces this name over here. So we can also use the user/. Actually, okay, guys. Okay, there's something I want us to also know, that Laravel supports regular expression routes, that our routes are limited to, our dynamic routes are limited to text or numbers. So an example of this is when we pass a name, I want this name to only be a string. So inside this function callback, I'm going to return that name. So I can say over here, I can just use the where clause, and I will say the name must be, we have A to Z, A to Z, A to Z, and any other thing. So the name can be any letter, so we can just return the name. So I'm just trying to speed this up because we are wasting a lot of time. Over here I can say /Samuel. Oh guys, sorry for that. I think I have to comment this out. So I'm just going to make sure that these codes are available for you to use them. So I can say /user/Samuel. Let me kind of put a number, and you can see because of that number we are not able to use that user route. But whenever we change this to something like Samuel Anthony, whether it's capital letter, automatically it's going to make use of that route. So you can also make use of routes like let me just comment this, called regular expression routes. So I'm just going to copy this and paste. So I want this one to be an ID. So the way we can do that, over here we want 0 to 9. Just going to comment this out, and here we can say the user ID. Then over here we can bring in the ID, and we can say hello, your ID is $ID. Let's go ahead and just give this a refresh. Your ID is Samuel Anthony, which is actually not what we really want. The ID, okay, sorry, we are still using a name. We have to make use of the ID, and we need to get an error now. Then we can use 7, and you can see hello, your ID is 7. So if we use 7s, it's not going to work. If we use any 7 character or any character, it's not going to. But when we use a number, actually it's going to work perfectly. So there are more regular expression routes. You can actually visit it. There are also something called encoded routes. So let me just quickly show you how that works. I'm just going to type down encoded routes, encoded forward /is. Actually, I've not tried this before, but we can just say routes get. So I'm just going to search for the search. Let me close this. I hate seeing that error. So over here we can return this $search, but right here we have to bring that inside here. So guys, sorry if I'm being fast. I'm just trying to make sure that we can finish this early. So we want this to be anything. We don't just want this ID to be restricted to either a string or a number. So that is why we use this under this dot and this asterisk, so that we can make use of anything we want to make use of. So let's go ahead and give that a try. So I'm just going to go over to search for YouTube, and we get YouTube. So when we say YouTube 4, we still get YouTube 4. When we say for YouTube 4, and when we even remove that, because we are accepting anything here, but when we restrict that to only number or only text, you see that we get a 404 error whenever we visit that URL. So that's how we can use this route. So the next thing we are going to cover is controllers. So let me just kind of stop this video here. So guys, this is just the basic routing. So do not forget to hit the like button and also the subscribe button, and make sure you share, and I'll expect the next video and see you next time. So thank you very much. Bye bye.